Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome back to a wonderful Saturday morning theme park and zoo theater. I am your host, George B. Gambler, and today's episode we are going to dive in and take a look at the Dall Sheep. What an amazing animal! And then, of course, the reindeer. You know, this is November, so we're getting close to winter time, so we're going to dive into the reindeer and learn a little bit about them. And then finally, we've got our amusement ride today, which is going to be the roundup. I want to know if you folks have ever ridden the roundup. Leave me a comment down below, and so with that, I think it's time to get started. We're going to start off with the Dall Sheep.
The Dall sheep, or Ovis dalli, also known as Dall sheep or thin-horned sheep, is a species of wild sheep that lives on the mountain meadows of Alaska, USA, Yukon and British Columbia, Canada. They are white to pale brown in color, with yellow-brown horns, and are sexually dimorphic, the males being significantly larger than the females and with much thicker, curlier horns. Males measure between 1.3 and 1.8 meters long and weigh between 73 and 113 kilograms, while females measure between 1.3 and 1.6 meters and weigh 46 to 50 kilograms. They are not recognized as an endangered species, but their populations have been negatively affected by overhunting, especially the larger males, which are a popular target for trophy hunters due to their big horns. As a result, areas of their range are designated as nature reserves and the hunting is regulated to keep it sustainable. Social Dall sheep are herd animals and live in groups in the wild, with males in bachelor groups and females in groups with their young offspring. Reproduction during breeding season, males will approach females and taste their urine to determine whether they are in estrus, and, if a female is fertile, the male will attempt to induce mating by kicking her legs. Males will fight more aggressively during the mating season. Those with larger horns are more likely to win fights, defend females from rival males, as well as have more mating opportunities. When a female is interested in a particular male, which may arise as a result of him defending her successfully from rivals, she will headbutt and brush against him. During mating, he will mount her and, to accept the attempt, she will stand still rather than walking away. Males will guard females they have mated with, defending them from rivals for 2 to 3 days, which is thought to be the amount of time it takes to induce ovulation. After this guarding period ends, males will leave the female and attempt to court another. After 175 days, the pregnant female will give birth to a lamb or, occasionally, twins. When a female is ready to give birth, she will move to an isolated area, usually against a cliff face or in a rocky outcrop, and hide with her lamb until it is strong enough to move independently. Lambs start eating solid food at 2 weeks old and are fully weaned by 4 or 5 months. Females are fully grown and sexually mature by 3 years old, and stay with their natal herd, while males reach sexual maturity at 18 months. At this age, they will leave their natal group and join the bachelor herd. Their horns will grow significantly between this age and by 5 to 7 years old. Their horns are likely to be large enough to have high dominance among males, allowing them to defend females from rivals.
The Dall sheep. That was very interesting there. Very interesting. Now we're going to continue on to the magnificent reindeer. And you know that the reindeer is what pulls that sleigh, so let's find out a little bit more about the reindeer.
The reindeer, Orangifert arandus, is a species of ungulate that lives throughout the Arctic and subarctic, specifically in Canada, the USA, Alaska, Russia, Norway, Finland and Greenland. A reindeer's appearance changes depending on their origin and the time of year, but generally they have a brown and white coat, and a face with a white underside and muzzle, often with darker coloration on the snout. They also have large antlers, multiple points of which are covered in brown velvet. The males are between 1.8 and 2.1 meters long, weighing between 159 and 182 kilograms. Females are between 1.6 and 2.05 meters long, weighing 80 and 120 kilograms. Although reindeer are abundant with a widespread range, they are listed as vulnerable due to a 40% decrease in their population over the last 25 years. Certain subspecies are particularly vulnerable, such as the woodland caribou, Ranga ferdinandus caribou, which has lost much of its habitat through human land development, and the prairie caribou, Ranga ferdinandus pirai, which has suffered population crashes through starvation due to harsh winters in the Arctic areas in which they live. Separate populations of reindeer are being tracked and monitored in multiple areas to understand the threats that the population faces, and measures are also being introduced to make reindeer sport hunting sustainable. The reindeer is a social herd species. In the wild, they live in breeding groups of related females, their young, and one unrelated dominant male, or in bachelor herds of young males who have not yet acquired a harem of females. Reproduction: dominant male reindeer acquire and defend a territory, fighting other males for this territory, as well as for access to females. As groups of related females and their offspring come to their area to forage, the male will join their group, mating with receptive females. Between 7 and 8 months later, the female will give birth to a single calf, which is weaned at 3 months old and sexually mature between 16 and 20 months, although will be unlikely to reproduce until they are older. Females remain with their mother's group and are likely to have their first calf at around 3 years old, while males will be ousted from their family group at approximately 16 to 20 months, joining a bachelor herd. When a male becomes dominant in the bachelor herd, at around 5 years old, he will leave to establish his own territory and acquire his own female herd.
My goodness, what magnificent animals, and huge reindeers. I've seen one in person and they really are quite amazing animals. And finally, I think it's time to get on a ride and just let it go, right? Well, I've been on the Roundup. My goodness, I've been on it several times, and probably it's one of my most hated rides, but I get on it anyway. So here's a little bit of lesson of the amusement ride, the Roundup.
Roundup is an amusement ride consisting of a circular horizontal platform with a vertical cage-like wall around the edge. The platform is attached to a motor on a hydraulic arm. The ride starts out by spinning until the centripetal force is enough to push riders against a wall. Then the arm raises the horizontal platform to a vertical position in which riders, instead of spinning horizontally, are now spinning almost vertically. The ride spins for a predetermined cycle until an automatic timer releases the hydraulic fluid from the arm, causing the platform to return to its horizontal position. The operator may be required to manually control the spin of the ride so that its exit aligns correctly with the exit gate. Most require the rider to be at least 42 inches tall. In the United Kingdom, this ride is commonly known as the Meteor or Meteorite. The first such ride to arrive in that same country was with Rose Brothers in the 1950s, and it came from Germany. Although Hrubat's examples exist in the United Kingdom, other common makers, including Cadoxton and Sam Ward. There are 70 Roundups in the United States, 40 in the United Kingdom and 20 in Australia. The new portable model, made by Dartron, is known as Zero Gravity, The lighting and appearance has changed and the ride has gone from tire rim drive to direct center gear drive, but its operation remains the same. The title is ironic because the ride does the opposite of creating the sense of zero gravity, as it only gives off the illusion that there is an increase in gravity. Another version, also made by Dartron, exists called Zender, where the platform tilts on the end of the arm.
Alright, well there we go. That was the roundup. And like I said, folks, let me know if you all have ridden the roundup. And also let me know if you all have seen the Dall Sheep or a reindeer. So with that, I believe it's time we're going to wrap it up on this Saturday morning theme park zoo theater. But we will be back, and I am working on some more entertainment there for the animals and our amusement rides. And until then, folks, just remember, if you see someone that does not have a smile, then give them one of yours. How about that? All right, folks, this is George B. Gambler signing out.